Hello, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of Game and Interactive Media Design. So you've created your repository, Knights Hegney or Memory Mountain or whatever it is, and you're here and you've added people to your team. Well, let's go ahead and add some people. Let's see, I've got one contributor. I'm probably going to add some of you in here just to show you what's going on. I'm going to go to Settings here on the top right. I'm going to go to... Ooh, I thought you were here. Manage access. Oh, interesting. I feel like this is slightly different. I'm going to invite a collaborator, and I'm going to invite Bryn. Oh, goodness. Who are these people? All right. I'm going to just write a couple names down by looking at past projects. Give me a second. All right, so I think I deleted all of my files with all of your GitHub names. So I'm going to go to Settings, go to Manage Access, invite a collaborator. There's one username I have, and it's Christian. So Christian, I'm going to be inviting you. There you are. And I'm going to click Add CDOT Jones to the Knights. There. I invited him. He's probably going to get this invite and be like, why is Hegney inviting me to something that's not even my project? Okay, when I do that, we're going to use the next step once you add your other fellow collaborators and me. Add me, Hegney. Again, you can see this here, who I am, Brian C. Hegney. That's my username. We're going to now create a project. And the project is going to help us plan and track our progress, share our statuses, things like that. We are going to create a project. The terminology is a little weird. This is essentially going to be, it's not really a project because you can have multiple projects in your game as it's hosted on GitHub. You'll see what it is in a moment. Okay, create a project. Project board name. Let's go ahead and call this Weekly Scrums. Weekly Sprints. Description. This is where we will organize our weekly tasks. Template, let's go ahead with none. Let's go with none and create a project. Hey, we don't have any columns or cards. So I'm going to go ahead and add a column. And one of the columns I'm going to add is... Okay, so for some reason my Google isn't working. I must have a bad internet connection, and I really wanted to show you this image or to remind you. My columns in this Kanban project here is going to be based on, I think some of you will recognize this, let's see, is here. The Scrum concept, where we've got a product backlog and a sprint backlog, and then daily sprints, okay? And the other thing you might recognize, I'm not going to get into the user stories here, but basically we're going to have a bunch of columns, okay? And you'll understand what those columns are in a moment. The gist is the product backlog is every single thing you ever need to do to finish this project. The sprint backlog is every single thing you need to do this week to finish this minimum viable product, okay, which is the weekly version of your game. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to call this product backlog. Preset is none, well, to do, planned but not started. Move issues here when newly added. Reopened and move pull requests here when sure. Create column. Yay, there's product backlog. Let's go ahead and add another column because this will just grab all of the stuff that need to be done. Well, this next one is going to be based on our sprint backlog. So let's go ahead and call it sprint backlog. Preset in progress. Move issues here, not one reopened, newly added. No. Maybe pending. Nope. We'll just create that column. We don't need to automate anything. And then the last one we're going to add is not based on any of these. Maybe we could do, we're not going to do a daily. I'm not going to have you do a daily. If we were a 40 hours a week studio, we might do a daily, our daily scrum would be here. But we're not. So I'm going to say preset will be done. Finished tasks. And if an issue is closed, it will be moved here. There, let's just create that. All right, finished tasks. So let's see what that means, right? So let's go to our issues. Now, I have no issues here, but if I'm working on this project, let's see, I might need to say develop, and for those of you who were in my class last semester, you might think, oh, user stories, I had to write things like, from a player's perspective, I need to know when, which tiles to move to. And that is a user story. And the way we'd accomplish that is we'd give people tasks. Like user interface designer must come up with the whatever. The programmer must actually implement the programming in the blueprint. And then it's going to be up for the developer to fix that. So in any case, let's create a new issue. That new issue is going to be, well, let's just do what I said. UI for picking blocks, for picking tiles. I need to write this out so people know what to do, right? So I'm going to say, this is a good time to write a story. So I'll say, from the players, as a player, I need to visualize or understand which tiles are pickable, because not everyone knows the rules of chess, number one. Number two, not everyone wants to think, number two. And number three, it will provide consistency throughout the game. Okay. Now this is a task that will need to be done. The other thing I want to do is hit enter, and write conditions of satisfaction, which is, how do you know this is done? Conditions of satisfaction, and this will have to be, let's see, I'll say this will be first draft, UI elements, or player must see the change in the tile. First draft UI design must be implemented. It doesn't have to be the final version, but I need to start with something. All right, and I'm going to assign, right? I can say assignees. I really need to assign this to someone. I can assign it to myself, but also, oh, Christian hasn't done it yet. Okay, so he hasn't gotten the email, and he hasn't joined yet. Okay, so if Christian were here, I could also assign that to Christian. Yay. Can I say anything else? Like, Bill. Nope. Oh, assign yourself. The other thing, we could work with labels. We could work with like high priority. We haven't made labels yet. I'm just going to submit this as a new issue. Notice I could assign it to projects. Oh yeah, I'm going to assign it to weekly sprints. All right, and now submit that as a new issue. Now, when I do that, I'm going to go back to my project, and you'll see that the weekly sprint should have that product backlog here. And all of you can make these issues, like what needs to happen for this game to work. At the beginning of every week, what you're going to do is, well, let me go ahead and pause this and make a few more issues. Okay, so I just wrote a couple. So if you go to projects and you go to weekly sprints, you should have like a whole bunch of things, right, that we call tasks. Now, I used to say, start with user stories, and then you guys are going to pick which tasks you need to do. Notice these are all assigned to me. If these are all mine out of like 100, I might say, you know what, I'm going to, this week, design the puzzle aspect, because that might take me a week. Now, if that's actually going to take me half of the week, and then the other half of the week I might say, oh, I'm going to work on the tiles. Like, I need to make sure these two things I can do in a week. If everybody does this, everybody should be working on something throughout this week. Some of these tasks have more than one person assigned to it. You could click on these and actually go to issue for full details. You can say, you could write a comment like, hey, Alex, I need such and such. And I don't know, such and such, and comment. And then people are going to get that comment. You are the author of this issue. Can I quote the reply? No. Okay. And we can have conversations about this particular issue. Again, go to the issue. You can see there's comments here. All right. Now, the other thing, I'm going to go to the projects here. And so in this weekly sprint, hopefully I set it up to do this. So if I say, you know what, design puzzle aspect, I'm going to go to, I've beaten it, I've had people play test it, and let's say they beat it in dumb ways, I need to revise it, then I go back and revise it, and finally, after it meets this conditions of satisfaction, I can go and close this issue, and by closing it, look where it goes, into the finished tasks. This finished task will be huge by the time you're done. Basically, everything needs to go from the product backlog through the sprint backlog to the finished tasks. That's it. This is how I'm going to be communicating and seeing that you're working every single week. This has to be done. You don't even need to host your game on here. Like, if I had... there are repositories in this particular Knights Hegni project. I don't have to be here, though. Really, the most important thing for project management, for me, making sure you're all on the ball, is going to your projects page, going to your weekly sprints page, and making sure it's active. Okay. All right, that's it. Is there anything else I'm going to talk to you about? I think that's pretty much it. Okay, that's it. I will be in touch with all of you, and I hope you have a good week. Bye!